This is the MLW Radio Network. This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
I think for this week's episode, we'll do a whole episode dedicated strictly to crocheting. Crocheting, yes.
That's a bold choice.
We did a full sports episode, so let's take it the polar opposite end of the spectrum and do some needlework.
Listen, I'm about it, but I'm curious to know what our listeners will think, and the Pod Squad will think about an entire episode devoted to the art of crocheting.
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. I'm feeling better than that guy who jumped on stage with Dave Chappelle last night. See that?
I saw it at the gym this morning, and I have a lot of questions. And I apparently they said the guy was armed. Is that actual? Is that accurate?
It's like what I heard was the guy had a gun that had, it was like wasn't a real gun, but it was a gun that like had a knife in it where you hit the thing and the knife pops out. Kind of like, fake comb fake knife that's a comb. I don't know, something goofy. He had like a gun, but it was actually a knife.
That's
no idea.
Why?
No
like
idea.
That sounds totally fucking ineffective, but I saw them kick the shit out of that guy. Like, no wonder Dave Chappelle works out now. That guy is a fucking machine.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy hit Dave Chappelle and just bounced off him like Wile E. Coyote bouncing off the side of a building, But, I don't know what would possess somebody to do that and think they're just going to get away with it, But I also saw like video of them loading up the guy on a gurney to put him in the ambulance, and he was bent and twisted like a South Philly pretzel. It was just, whew.
Those guys aren't fucking around, man. I'm telling you, those guys will beat the shit out, especially somebody like Dave Chappelle and the security and stuff that they have. I mean, that's crazy that somebody would attempt that. Now, let me ask you a question. Since we're talking about it, since we're starting on the show this way, do you think that that's a direct result of the Will Smith controversy?
Nah.
I don't want to dig that up again and retread tires there, but do you think that's why someone did that?
Nah, people have been going at comedians for forever, I mean, it's happened before. So, I mean, people are just, anybody who wants to make a correlation between that and the Will Smith, which is funny because Chris Rock was there last night. And, like, there's a video on YouTube. I'll send it to you. Not YouTube, Twitter. Fucking, Dave Chappelle saying something. Rock comes out on stage. He goes, "Was that Will Smith?" And the crowd pops.
Yeah.
So huge. That was like his real first acknowledgement of the Will Smith incident. But that's like, back in the day, people, saying heavy metal records force people to kill themselves.
Right.
People make decisions, and people. There's videos out there from years or decades ago of people going after shit. Joe Rogan got on stage with Carlos Mencia and just punked him out, that one time. So
I will never forget where I was the first time I watched Joe Rogan punk Carlos Mencia. That shit was absolutely classic, and it tanked Mencia's career. I have my opinions
basically.
now. I have my opinions now on Joe Rogan, and obviously we're not going to get into it here. But
No.
I absolutely love that he did that. I mean, that's like, you're stealing somebody's shit, dude. You're literally, we can tangibly prove that you're taking someone's material. And then Rogan comes on stage to confront you, and then you just try to lie your way out of it. I thought that was, a little bit of street justice, which was great.
Yeah, that, and then Louis C.K., pretty much punked out Dane Cook for stealing his bits.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm going to tie this one in because this is going to be awesome. But, well, actually, no, hold on. I was trying, because there's a new George Carlin documentary coming out.
Yes.
I want to talk about in a second, but we're talking about like people notoriously when Denis Leary just took all of Bill Hicks' fucking material.
Isn't that disappointing? Like when you think about Denis Leary, because I kind of like Denis Leary for the stuff he does with like the firefighters and things like that. Like he seems like he does a lot of good. And I loved him in Demolition Man. And, Rescue Me was a great show. But like you find out how much shit he literally hijacked Bill Hicks's entire everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, well, there's only so many scenarios that you can riff off of and stuff like that. But like Denis Leary's No Cure for Cancer album is Bill Hicks's greatest hits. I mean, like, it's one thing to riff off one thing, that everybody does. That's, but like a whole album of everything somebody else has already done.
Yeah.
And the fact that like once Bill Hicks passed away, show me another Denis Leary special that happened after Bill Hicks passed away. That's what, oh, well, I guess I'll get into acting now. So it's just like, a hell of a coincidence.
They used to be, if I remember correctly, because I've read some stuff about this, but they used to be friends at some point, right? Hicks and Leary, they were buddies or something. I can't remember.
I do not know. I do not know.
Don't fact check me on that, Pod Squad. By the way, shout out to the Pod Squad. Before we continue to do this, Pod Squad, go to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie right now. Become a member of the Pod Squad and see our beautiful faces, not brutal faces, because it's my first day with my new mouth. But see our beautiful faces each and every week when we record the show. No, I was so disappointed when I found out. Do you have any extra lips? I was super disappointed when I found out that Leary was such a hijacker, but also too, like, one thing that
That's a good word. That's a good word.
What's that?
That's a good word for it.
One thing I was surprised to find out after he died was Robin Williams used to take people's materials too. He was notorious for, they used to have a shtick for him at the Comedy Store in Hollywood when Robin would enter. What's that?
The rumor was when Robin Williams entered the room, people would get off stage.
Well, not only that, but they would also flash the lights in the back of the green room or whatever, the holding room for the comedians. They would turn the lights on and off to let them know that Robin Williams was there and to say any of the material that they were working on, which is like, that's like, come on, man. Like, you clearly have a brain for this kind of stuff. Like, it's not as if you're, but yeah, so who would you say is the worst offender, I guess, of the three, excluding Robin Williams, Dane Cook, Carlos Mencia, and Denis Leary? Who would you say is the worst for you, the worst offender of the three?
Denis Leary, I would think. Just because, I mean, people have done YouTube videos of like, here's Bill Hicks's thing, here's Denis Leary's thing. And when they showed the Denis Leary thing, it's all from one special.
Yeah.
It's that No Cure for Cancer special. Bill Hicks was this guy smoking on stage, talking about, smoking and all this stuff. And then Denis Leary does the whole thing with the smoking. And I don't want to go bit for bit.
Right.
But it's out there. And it's like, holy shit. And like, there's a great clip of Bill Hicks on the Dennis Miller show when he had that short run Fox talk show.
Yeah.
Where they make reference to Denis Leary. He's like, yep, I stole all of Denis Leary's material. I just happened to do it before him and, put it in a box and wrap it up for him and give it to him as a present or something like that. And Dennis Miller loses his shit laughing. Like, everybody knew.
Yeah.
Everybody knew,
It wasn't hard to see. It's crazy, though, how frequent that stuff happens. And I promise we're going to get into Carlin because I really want to talk about that. But one of the things I noticed, too, like, and I sort of have opinions or beefs with this or whatever you want to call it, but even in music, right? The rumor, and let me paraphrase all of these things by saying that I'm not actually accusing anyone of plagiarism or forgery or anything else like that, or, stealing, because that's not my place to say it. But, there are definitely coincidences and certain sounds that sound the same. Like a real famous one recently within the past 10, 12 years was Sam Smith's Stay With Me. And apparently it was so similar to Tom Petty's, what was the name of the song that he did? I
Won't Back Down.
Won't Back Down. I think the story that I remember hearing was that Tom Petty's people or Tom Petty called them and were like, hey, listen, this is basically my song. So Sam Smith did the right thing and was like, holy shit, you're right. Here's a writing credit for you and your guys. And they split the difference and like nothing ever came from it because he did the right thing, right?
Yeah.
But now you have Ed Sheeran, who's been accused of lifting a lot of music.
Really?
Ed Sheeran's been accused of lifting most of his like big hits. There's YouTube videos out there that the similarities, but the biggest one I think that
I know what I'll be doing tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go back and check them out. But I guess the most famous one recently was Robin Thicke with Blurred Lines, and Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up. Now, for me, when I listen to that, it's similar. It's like undeniably similar. But I don't know if I would go as far as to say it was outwardly stolen. Because you're not talking about Robin Thicke, right? You're talking about Pharrell, the producer, Pharrell Williams from the Neptunes and NERD.
Yeah.
It's definitely inspired by, but it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily stolen. Have you heard those records put back and forth together? Are you familiar with that whole process?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Definitely familiar. They're definitely cousins.
Right.
So to speak. Yeah, but, and the thing is, I love both songs. They come on, and I dance very uncoordinately. And then Mrs. Meanie smacks me, and I stop. No, I'm just kidding. Knock it off. Embarrass me. We're in ShopRite. Definitely similar. Yeah, I definitely hear something there, dude. I was listening to. I wish I could remember. I wish I thought to look. I had Pandora on the other day, and this one song came on. I could have sworn it was fucking Cody Rhodes' Ring music, and it was something totally different. And I was just like, dude, I wish I could have just went over and did a screenshot of the song just to figure out who it was. But like, it's weird how many songs sound like. Who's the who does that song, Fix You?
Oh, is that Coldplay?
Coldplay. Them and Joe Satriani had a thing back and forth, a couple years ago where Coldplay was accused of lifting, the Joe Satriani song. And if you play those back and forth, it's like, come on. And then it was one of those bands like Franz Ferdinand or something like that did a song that was basically a Tom Petty song too.
Really?
And and it's bumming me out. I can't think of it. And Tom was just like, whatever. But then Red Hot Chili Peppers did. Did Chili Peppers did a song that was basically Mary Jane's Last Dance, Tom Petty's. A lot of people lifting Tom Petty.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Recently, but it's crazy, how, people just, lift shit like that. And it's fascinating. So, I guess the most famously one would be Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Have you seen all that with Led Zeppelin with the, lifting songs from like Joan Baez and all the blues singers to where they got sued and they had to give writing credit and stuff like that. So
I'm familiar with a little bit of that. I got to go back and sort of deep dive on that, but I'm familiar. I knew that there was always kind of this rumbling that Zeppelin was lifting pieces of material from them. Ed Sheeran, actually, I was looking this up as you were talking. Ed Sheeran was accused of plagiarizing the song Shape of You. And he actually won his case, and now he films all of his songwriting sessions in order to prove that he's not stealing anything. So
it's smart.
It's a smart way to do it. I mean, I don't blame him. But Pharrell's deposition for the Blurred Lines case, he was basically the attorney for the Marvin Gaye Estate. Was asking him questions about bluegrass music, and he's like, "I'm not here to teach you music. Like, I'm not here to teach you about musical composition and things like that." So, like, it's hard because it feels like there's that weird dynamic. There's a weird line to that, right? Where you can accuse someone of stealing something, but also have it sound as similar. Like, when does sampling stop and plagiarism begin? And I think that was sort of what that case was about. But at least to me anyway. But I don't know. There's too many references to count. But I definitely would invite you to check out some of the stuff on YouTube about Ed Sheeran's accused lifting. But one thing that is not lifted, and that I'm excited about, is the George Carlin documentary, man. Holy fucking shit. The first thing I did when I saw that trailer at the gym, I sent it right over to the Blue Meanie. And
you did?
Wow. I can't wait.
I won't lie. I kind of got a little, I almost got fucking weepy-eyed just saying I got weepy-eyed.
Yeah.
But holy shit, the trailer for the new George Carlin documentary, talk about, without going into detail, like how relevant it is to right now. Holy shit.
Like incredibly relevant to current today.
Yeah, like the bullet points they're showing in the fucking trailer. Yeah, I'm like, that's happening right now.
Yeah,
that's right fucking now. And holy shit, I can't wait to see it. Long overdue. There's another documentary out there called "Gee, he was just here a minute ago," which is reference to what George Carlin wanted on his headstone.
Yep. Well, he died anyway.
Yeah. He was just here a minute ago.
Just here a minute ago.
It didn't help. I just saw him yesterday. Well, it didn't help. Well, maybe you seen him yesterday is the reason why he's dead.
Oh my God, so good, man. Fucking best.
Oh my God, I could go on and on about George Carlin, but I've said it before and I'll say it 800 million more times. When George Carlin, there's two people who I cried harder for than any member of my family, and that was George Carlin and Eddie Van Halen. Just George Carlin, Eddie Van Halen, Bill Hicks changed the way I view the world and how I feel about things and stuff like that, and which I've kind of learned to keep to myself. Because I feel for those people who feel like the need to argue online every day. It's just like, you're not going to change that person's opinion.
No.
That other person's not going to change your opinion. And you just wasted 9 hours and probably destroyed a friendship over it. So it's just like, but yeah. What I love about George Carlin is he did not discriminate. He went after... This is the most political I'll get. He went after George Bush the same way he went after Bill Clinton. He went after Bill Clinton the same way he went after George Bush. He went after everybody equally. And, he was the voice of the little man.
Yeah.
So to speak, and pointed stuff out. What I'll do every now and then is I'll go on YouTube and I'll YouTube George Carlin reaction videos, and I'll watch people watch George Carlin for the first time. And it makes me appreciate George Carlin even that much more. Yeah, I'll do the same thing with music I like too. To watch people who've never heard music that I like listen to it the first time, it makes me reappreciate the music I already like. So
right.
George Carlin, huge influence on my life. I'm not the only one. There's countless people, but HBO's putting out the documentary, which is odd because a lot of his stand-ups kind of disappeared from the platform. Like if you go to look for it, it's not there anymore. But hopefully, with this documentary comes out, with the documentary coming out, they reload his specials to the HBO streaming service. So. When did you first hear George Carlin?
I was, so I had no like oversight as a child. So I was listening to Howard Stern when I was like 8 or 9, you know, like after like porn stars and all kinds of shit, like definitely things an 8-year-old should hear, right? I was probably a teenager, I'd say, when I first heard George Carlin stuff. Like I knew about him through like Bill and Ted. Like I knew that he was an actor, right? Yeah. I knew he was Mr. Conductor as well. So, because he was Mr. Conductor on Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes.
And what was the other movie? Dogma was one of my favorites. I still have the Buddy Christ up here as well. But I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12 the first time I heard him. And I just remember being blown away by him and being like, yeah, this guy's fucking right. Like everything is bullshit, you know? And there's something that's very unique about the way that he speaks. Again, not to get political, but it's hard not to touch on certain things when you talk about Carlin. But one of the things that cracks me up a lot is when folks of a certain political party will use Carlin to reinforce things that they say, which are the exact opposite of the context and the nuance that Carlin was using. George Carlin was a hippie, and he hated, like, I don't even want to say his name, but he hated 45. There's video of him talking about 45 out there before he was 45. Right. And Carlin was for the little man. He was for the people. Yeah. And there was something unique and exciting and fun about his takes on everything in the world, you know, for everything from, you know, abortion to, you know, the sun and worshiping Joe Pesci, which every once in a while I'll still hit people with the Joe bless you.
Joe bless you.
Joe bless you, and also with you, which they've changed now apparently to end with your spirit. So as the end of the show, we should end every show going forward with a Joe bless you and with your spirit. But
sounds like a plan.
Actually, it's made, so it technically would be may Joe be with you and with your spirit. But anyway, I digress. No, I think there's so many things, like you said, there's so many things that are still so culturally relevant and so important about what he says now. It's almost like George Carlin in a lot of ways is like the comedy version of Tupac Shakur. So if you go back and listen to a Tupac Shakur record, a lot of the things that he's talking about in those records are still incredibly relevant today. And he's been dead for 25, 30 years, you know? And Carlin's been my favorite comedian for as long as I can remember. And I think the abrasiveness and the rawness of what he says, he never sugarcoats anything. So I think for me, it's like, you know, there's no one who did it better. Nobody who did it better than Carlin. Maybe Richard Pryor is probably up there, but for a whole different reason. You know what I mean? Like they're cut from the same cloth, but they're very different in most ways.
Yeah, which is funny. Like anybody from, you know, my generation and a little bit older, like everybody's got to do like a who's better, you know?
Yeah. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of comedians, Blue Meanie?
Yeah. Who's better? You know, back in the day, it was Magda Johnson or Larry Bird. Nowadays, they got to invent ones with, you know, Michael Jordan and LeBron when it's obviously Michael Jordan.
Clearly Michael Jordan.
But back in the day, it was George Carlin or what do you like, George Carlin or Richard Pryor? You know?
Why not both?
And why can't you like both? You know, I'm a guy who likes both eras of Van Halen.
Well, here's something we can tie back into the wrestling world. Why can't we like WWE and AEW? Sure, there's things about both promotions that I think could be done way better, but that doesn't mean I can't watch both.
Right.
I don't know, dude.
The funny thing is, the people who claim to hate WWE and go online and complain about them incessantly online don't realize that they're actually helping them by complaining about them because they're keeping them. You know, you type WWE into the fucking Twitter bot, and you know that causes a trend.
Yeah, I can think of two people specifically off the top of my head who I would know who do that. It's like their bread and butter. It seems like it's their that's their livelihood, is just to shit all over or WWE, which is fine. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's totally up to you. But no one is forcing you to watch that programming. No one is forcing you.
Right. Imagine forcing yourself to watch something you hate every week and talk about how much you hate it. What? There's so much more things I'd rather be fucking doing than watching something I fucking hate.
Go outside.
You know,
touch grass, breathe the air. touch consensual cheeks, sir. Do something different. Shout out to Northwest C for that one. Touching consensual cheeks is something you should be doing instead of complaining online about wrestling.
But yeah, George Carlin's the best, man. He is my number one. Then Bill Hicks, you know, and then there's plenty others. I'm blanking right now, but I'm due to get like a George Carlin tattoo. I was
just gonna say that, dude. I've been hopefully I'm gonna try this summer. That's gonna be my gig. My goal is to save up enough cash because I have room on my left calf over here. Maybe we'll do that together. Let's save up. Let me save up some cash.
What are we gonna do? Hold hands?
I mean, if you'd like to, listen. I'm totally fine with that. I'm cool with that. No, but I definitely I've thought about that for a long time. Is getting a Carlin tattoo on my leg. But where are you gonna get yours?
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it's not going to be the 7 words.
No.
Shit, piss, cunt, cock, sucker, motherfucker, fart, turd, and
tits.
What? Oh, I forgot tits. Yeah. I can't forget tits. But shit, piss, cunt, cock, sucker, motherfucker, tits, and then he added fart, turd, and twat. So, which.
Here it is. I'm going to look them up right now. This is the 1972 monologue. Words in order that Carlin used them are shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Mm-hmm. And I believe I'm checking it out right now. Was there anything more jarring than watching Stephen Colbert recite the 7 dirty words? Because I don't think I've ever heard the man swear before, at least not that blue.
No, he is fucking ivory soap. Fucking pure. I could never, like, he could be the new Bob Saget as far as, you know. I call Ian Riccaboni the Bob Saget of pro wrestling because he's so pure. But if you talk to him one-on-one, he'll hit you with a zinger. You're like, Ian! You know,
sir, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah. Yeah. But the first time I heard George Carlin was Carlin at Carnegie.
Yeah.
And again, it's amazing. I said this to somebody yesterday. It's amazing. My grandparents let me watch. My mom. Was my mom. She was an authority figure too. But like, I was more scared of my grandparents for whatever reason. I guess because they were my mom's parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least my grandma was. But holy shit, you just watch it and you're like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like something as simple as cats and dogs.
Yeah.
You ever realize when you scratch a dog here, this leg goes like that and it stops when you stop. Holy shit, I'm in complete control of this dog. Just like, and that's the bug that bit me was Carlin at Carnegie.
Yeah.
I watch it. I swear to God, they do a cutscene to a guy in the crowd, and it's Steve Perry from Journey with a mustache. I'm just like, oh. Just like there's like an episode of Evening at the Improv, and I swear they cut to somebody in the crowd, and I swear it's Anthony Kiedis.
Oh, no shit.
There's somebody in the crowd. I'm like, fuck. I tried to rewind it, and it was Hulu, and their rewind thing is fucking stupid. I couldn't fucking get a good screenshot. I was like, that was fucking Anthony Kiedis.
I know who that is.
Yeah, motherfucker. But Carlin at Carnegie, yeah, that was my entry point into George Carlin, and I watched that. Like back in the day when you could go rent videos.
Yeah.
I'd rent it, and copy them. And then
you're coughing like I am just now. I got something stuck in my throat there. That was a little bit of a cough.
But it's the fucking season, man. Everybody's got the cough.
Oh, this is the shits right now, man. It's terrible.
2 years ago, I'd fucking throw a sack over you and fucking hide you, somewhere.
I'm in the Walmart with a fucking medical mask on and rubber gloves that I use to wash dishes with. And the first person I fucking hear coughing in the aisle, I'm running the other way. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing outside? Spray him with the hose. This guy in aisle 3 over by the butter.
Cue Flight of the Bumblebee. But George Carlin at Carnegie, then Carlin on campus.
Yeah.
Playing with your head. A few of them, man. They're all
what
great,
am I doing in New Jersey? Doing it again. Jamming it in New York.
I want a T-shirt of the "What Am I Doing in New Jersey" album cover because he's just standing there like, that one was for Patreon.
I can literally hear him. What am I doing in New Jersey?
Yeah, and that was the day when HBO you had to have an opening skit to your comedy special, and "What Am I Doing in New Jersey" was like George taking a cab to the building, and the cab driver's talking about, this talk about how the state of New Jersey's obsessed with sex or something like there's Middlesex, Sussex, Cherry Hill, I don't even know why I remember that because I always fast forward through the fucking opening skits. It's just like, let's get to the. But later on, George would just be George walking out on stage, which was awesome. Like the '90s is kind of when it is. Maybe What Am I Doing in New Jersey, and then into the '90s is when George became, fucking. I don't want to say angry George, but holy shit, he reinvented himself.
He did
time and time again. You said he was like the Tupac. I will also say he was the Willie Nelson kind of.
Yeah.
Because both of them started off suit, tie, hair, slicked to the side with the Barbasol or whatever, or Burl Cream. Sorry. Tony, the feds are so far up my ass I could taste Brill Cream. Uncle June. But and then slowly they became counterculture.
Yeah.
The long hair, the beard, and stuff like that. And, he went from Ed Sullivan to this being counterculture and stuff like I'm so fortunate that I at least got to see him once.
Oh, man.
But unfortunately, it was on his last tour.
Oh, It's Bad For You one? 2008?
Yeah. Yeah, he was doing the Tower Theater in Philly or Upper Darby, nerds.
Nerds.
You know where you are. Look, if you're within, back then it was in 10. If you're in 10 distance of 3, 6, and 10, which is our local channels, and 29, you're Philly. Stop.
Just
but such a sidebar to take.
We're in the weeds, folks. We're coming right back to you in just a second.
Yeah. Pull me out.
While you're waiting.
It's the shit.
Yeah.
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
And we're back.
Yes. We were going to go see him at the Tower Theater, and there was early show and a late show. And we're out, we're drunk, so we're like, we'll go to the early show, and then we'll go to the bar after. Thankfully, we picked the early show because they had canceled the night show. I think George was sick because you could kind of tell he, was on stage, like he had like a thing of tissues. He would stop to cough and hold up the tissue and go eBay, stuff like that. But the cool thing about that is, my friend was the usher at the Tower Theater, and me and Mrs. Meanie are sitting there, and somebody flashes a flashlight. We go, huh? He goes, come over here. So we follow him, and there's seats, I want to say between 5 or 7 rows from the stage.
Wow.
He goes, if somebody comes for these seats, just go back to your seats. No problem. Nobody came for those seats. And I got to sit 5 rows from George Carlin.
Wow.
Watching him. It was basically It's Bad For You special, but with all the bonus stuff that didn't make the special, which was awesome, and just to watch the words flow from his mouth, he was very rhythmic, very poetic. There was
a cadence to him, the way he spoke and what he did. Yeah.
If you ever watched the special he did with Jon Stewart, 40 Years of Comedy, George Carlin, 40 Years of Comedy, which if you go out on Amazon, they got the box set and it's on there. Totally worth it. But he talks about how he likes to speak in rhythms like da 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 da, stuff like that. Which is, if you're a wrestling or a potential wrestler, that's a good lesson for cutting promos as well. To speak, bring them up, bring them down, and stuff like that. But that's a whole other thing, because as wrestlers, we get inspirations from anywhere. A lot of my meanie faces were George Carlin faces, with the, stuff like that, you look at a George Carlin album cover, that could be a potential meanie face that I've made, so half my facials were George Carlin, the other half was my grandfather making faces at me as a kid in my crib that I remember, for whatever reason. But yeah, man, I can't wait for this fucking documentary.
Yeah,
it comes out May 20th, which is 2 days after my birthday, so that'll be my birthday present.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say it's May 20th. It's going to be on HBO Max. George Carlin's American Dream. Definitely check it out. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm probably going to pick up the box set as well because I can't find the Carlin specials fucking anywhere.
Get the box set on Amazon. It comes with
it's like everything.
Every special, but there's a bonus album that never came out.
No shit.
He did a show.
Yes. I know what you're going to say.
He did a show the night before 9/11.
Do you know what it's called?
I like it when a lot of people die.
And he talks about how all these people die in like a massive fucking event. And then 9/11 happened.
He basically, what was that? He Babe Ruthed it. He fucking pointed to where the fucking home run was going to go. He Babe Ruthed 9/11.
Oh my God. I would love to make that the episode title of this, but I don't know if that's a good
George Carlin,
idea.
Babe Ruth 9/11.
Oh my God. I gotta write that down. Oh my God. That is so good. I hope we don't get in trouble for that.
I'm tempted. George Carlin, Babe Ruth 9/11.
There it is, so you can make sure you see it. It's right here. Fuck, dude. I remember hearing clips of that. It like leaked on YouTube or something. I was like, holy shit.
Well, they put it out, and they put out the stereo. It's in an album.
Yeah, it's a CD here. It looks like there's, I'm trying to look here. It's like all the DVDs, and then there's Blu-ray copies of Life is Worth Losing. His last two specials is Life is Worth Losing and It's Bad for You.
If you get the box set, it comes with a poster too.
Oh,
which
dope.
is awesome.
Yeah, it's the commemorative set here. Yeah. Bailey goes, oh no, what a tremendous title. Liking that comment. It's probably going to happen. Can't wait for the kickback on this one, guys. But before we move off of Carlin here, one of my favorite, it's a really like graphic stand-up is Life is Worth Losing. But he does something called a coast-to-coast emergency, which is like pretty much one of my favorite brain exercise material bits I've ever heard, where he's like, imagine like a flood happens somewhere in the world and it turns into this fucking catastrophic event through the country. And like,
it's kind of like The Aristocrats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like The Aristocrats. He just expands and extrapolates and blows this thing out, and it becomes this massive fucking event. And I remember reading a piece about him. Maybe it was in Rolling Stone or one of them, and they were talking about him practicing this bit and how he would just sit and he would be like, he would just let his brain just do it, and he would write it down and come up with all these different ideas and come up with the most insane things possible. And I remember, like, I can still go back and listen to it. It's 6 minutes and 50 seconds of just fucking glory. And I just like that whole, and then A Modern Man is when it's like almost like a poem the way he writes it, and man, so much good shit on there. But definitely check out the documentary. Like we said, George Carlin's American Dream comes out May 20th on HBO and HBO Max.
Buy the box set.
Buy the box set, yeah. Andy Schlichter from the Pod Squad also said, speaking of documentaries, Weird Al has a new movie coming out starring Daniel Radcliffe. It is the life's film about Weird Al Yankovic. Any thoughts on that?
Dude, I am the Weird Al Yankovic of professional wrestling with all the parodies,
Yeah.
Me, Stevie Nova, the BWO, parodies. Weird Al, man. I mean, you knew you were successful in the music business if Weird Al did a parody of you.
Yeah.
And most famously, there's a story. Weird Al wanted to do a Nirvana song, so he, what's her name, Victoria Jackson, The girl from the lady from UHF, blonde hair.
Yeah, I think it's Victoria Jackson is her name. Yeah,
she was on Saturday Night Live, and he called Victoria Jackson at Saturday Night Live. Hey, can you go get Kurt? And she goes, gets Kurt Cobain, brings him back, and Weird Al goes, hey, yeah, can I was thinking about doing a parody of your song, and Kurt Cobain goes, yeah, that's cool. But is it going to be about food? And stuff like that. Humble brag here. I was talking to Billy Corgan once.
Oh wait, I'm going to pick this up for you. It's the name you dropped.
Yeah. I don't know how it came up, but we're talking about Weird Al, and then he's like, Weird Al had called him about using bullet with butterfly wings as one of his songs. Like, yeah, sure, yeah, whatever, cool. And it turned out one of my favorite things at Weird Al would do would be the polka medley.
Yeah,
where you just do the mashup of all the different songs, and he worked in Smashing Pumpkins' Bullet with Butterfly Wings into one of his polka medleys, which is, to me, is even cooler. You know?
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
I wish somebody would just do a mega mix and put all the polka medleys together and see how long they can go.
That would be pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Weird Al, talk about a fucking innovator. Just people think he just did parodies, but his regular songs were just as good. So I can't wait to check that out. I didn't know if it was going to be a movie or it's going to be a documentary, but either way, I'm down to watch it.
I know. Well, Schlichter said there's a documentary, but I know there's some kind of what's the word? It's like a biopic of Weird Al that is Daniel Radcliffe from Harry Potter is in. So I'm not sure of the details on it, but I think
everybody says biopic at first.
Is it? Yeah, is it biopic? I can't remember.
I think it's biopic.
I think I can help solve this Pan dilemma we're having here. I'm excited for. There was a cut on the record that Weird Al did with Coolio's, the Amish Paradise. It was called Since You've Been Gone, and it's like a barbershop quartet setup where he sings the harmonies in the background and he sings on top of it. I don't think it's a parody song, but it's funny, it's got some bits in it. But that's a fucking great record, man. I sing once in a while it'll pop into my head and I start singing it.
Every year we, me and Mrs. Meanie drive to Connecticut last couple of years so much, but when we drive to Connecticut, we do Christmas in 2 states. We'll go to Connecticut, stay overnight, have Christmas breakfast with our family, drive to Jersey, have dinner with my family. Mm-hmm. We make road trip mixes, and Weird Al has a song, Christmas at Ground Zero, which is really good. And there's one about the night Santa Claus went insane or something like that. He turned Rudolph into reindeer sausage or something like that. But he has a couple good Christmas songs too. If you're ever looking for a good Christmas song for your Christmas, mix,
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to definitely look into it. Let me see one other quick thing. I'm just making sure I hit all the Pod Squad questions before. Actually, you know what? Fuck it, Meanie. Would you like to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions at Mind of the Meanie using the hashtag AskMeanie, and we will ask your questions on the show. We are going to pull up one here shortly, and I will give it to you in a moment, Meanie. Anything else you want to talk about before I ask this question?
No, man. I like that we went down the George Carlin route because
me too.
I don't know where I'd be without him. Him or Van Halen's music. Growing up, I seem to bring this up every time, but growing up severe asthmatic as a kid, a lot of time alone because I couldn't play any other kids' reindeer games, and Eddie Van Halen, George Carlin got me through a lot of shit and kept me laughing. Kept my mind off of what was going on. So, I'm glad we got to celebrate.
Absolutely. I anytime I can talk about George Carlin, I'm all about it. Ads here. I found the question for you. We'll do one question today. Ads wants to know, the Birds, go Birds, had 3 first-round picks. The 19th got traded to the Saints for for their 2023 first rounder. I'm sure you already knew that. I'm just a pain. Sorry, but I love the episode. What do you think about them trading out that 19th pick to the Saints for the 2023 first rounder?
It's going to be amazing. Also, shout out to my boys at 4th and John.
4th and John.
4th and John. If you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, go to YouTube, find 4th and John, click subscribe. Those are my boys. Gail, Hollywood Hearns, and my boy Lucky Prime. He's the guy who gave me the Optimus Prime mask that's half BWO, half Philadelphia Eagles. I hopped on they were on draft night, and they had me come on. I did a run-in on their live stream, I believe night 2. But shout out to them. It was kind of them to have me on. Dude, Howie's been pretty masterful with draft capital. That's the word I'm looking for. He had a lot of draft capital. Going into this year's draft, we had 3 first-round picks, and we used 1. Or we used none of them. But we traded up to get a defensive lineman, and then we used the other one to get AJ. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about this. They got AJ Brown from the fucking Tennessee Titans, which for a first and a third, which is fucking amazing to get a quality. Yeah, sorry folks, we're going down this rabbit hole real quick. It's amazing that the Eagles used a first and a third to get AJ Brown from the fucking Tennessee Titans. When you think of what Miami gave to Kansas City, to get Hill, they gave up like maybe 5 picks, 6 picks to get one player in Miami. The Eagles gave up a first and a third.
Yeah, so
that was fucking amazing. Trade into the Saints for our first round there next year. It'll be fun to root against the Saints next year, I guess. Because the worse they do, the better we do. So who knows? They got Tyron Matthews, Honey Badger, which I wish the Eagles would have got, but I'm sure Howie's not done. Collecting folks, collecting pieces to the Eagles puzzle. But I think they get a first round pick for next year. Fine. We lost Carson Wentz, but it turned out, we got like they turned the Carson Wentz trade into like almost like 4 first round, for 4 number 1. So
yeah.
I like everything they did this year. People criticize them getting a center, but the center they drafted in round 2 was, handpicked by Jason Kelce to be a successor. So there's no more higher praise than the ultimate Eagle, picking, the guy who's A, going to replace him, and B, he's going to mentor him. Yeah, this will probably be Jason Kelce's last year.
I'm sure.
So it'll be like an internship.
Yeah.
When somebody's about to retire and they go, okay, this is how we do business here. So it'll be good. But train with the Saints to get another number 1 next year, which, who knows if they even use both of them. They could use one to trade out and to get an extra second rounder, or, it's amazing. They had 3 first round picks, and you're like, in 5 years you're going to have to, pay these guys, first rounders money. But no, we used that draft capital to, we got a battle tested wide receiver out of it. We got a wrecking ball on our defensive line. We got a center who loves to run downfield and beat the shit out of cornerbacks. Oh my God, we got fucking oh my God. Fuck. I'm fucking blanking. Third round pick.
Oh, who was it that they picked in the 3rd round? Hold on, I'm going to Google it. Go to the Google machine right now.
Oh my God, I feel like such a fucking fraud right now.
3rd round pick. 2022
We can edit this to make me sound smart.
Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, I almost said Deebo Samuel because that's who we're looking at. Nakobe Dean, the best defensive player in the whole draft for whatever reason, from the championship Georgia, college team, best defensive player in college football last year, somehow falls to the third round on rumors that, he has medical issues.
Huh.
And not only do they draft him in the third round when he could have went in the top 10, but he's like, nah, I'm fine. I don't know where all these rumors came about that I had a medical issue. I'm sitting there, telling my mom, hey, none of this is true. Now, if he comes into this year healthy and ready to play, that's a fucking steal,
That capital, his capital is going to just shoot through the roof.
He could potentially be the Philadelphia Eagles' next. Sorry, he could be the Philadelphia Eagles' next Brian Dawkins because he seems like such a leader.
Yeah,
and we had Brian Dawkins. Then Malcolm Jenkins became our defensive leader, and then he's went back to the Saints. But this kid, he could be our next Brian Dawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like on field general, leading this defense,
We have time for one more question, Meanie. I'm going to throw one out there for you. Josh Thornton wants to know, if you were able to come in any promotion and manage or coach any current talents, who would you choose and why?
If I could be a coach?
If you could manage. Let's keep it easy. If you could go into any promotion and manage anyone right now, who would it be and why? Keeping it simple for you.
Dude, I love it with that. Excuse me. I would love to be with the best friends. That group of misfits because I'm a misfit. As part of Raven's flock, I easily could have been part of the oddities.
Yeah.
Which
I still feel was a missed, that was a dropped ball, I feel like. That could have definitely been.
Yeah, I think I could have added to the oddities.
Yeah.
And then, just to say I teamed with Luna would have been awesome. And Earthquake.
Yeah.
And, the best friends, Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, Blue Meanie.
Tony, are you listening? Are you listening, Tony?
Tony, are you listening? What's that? Whose song? Tommy.
Yeah.
We'll just change the lyrics up. But yeah. If I could I'm definitely not going to be in the Blackpool Combat Club. So
they don't need to do, by the way, they don't need to do fucking nothing with that. Leave it exactly the way that it is. Let them continue exactly the way that they are and don't blow it. Because that shit, did you watch Regal's fucking thing on Twitter? Holy Santa Claus shit.
Yeah. If they add one more person, I would say add Serena Deeb.
Right.
Just because, just to...
You could use a woman in that group, yeah.
Yeah, well, you got a singles competitor. You got a tag team. Now you have somebody for the women's division to be a part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Right.
It's perfect.
I'm sort of afraid that they may kind of overdo the Blackpool Combat Club, but that can be another conversation for another day. Because next week, Meanie, it is Ask Meanie Anything for Everything. We'll just be asking Meanie questions, so make sure you tweet us your questions at Mind of the Meanie using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear your question on next week's episode. Meanie, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
If you would like to stalk me on social media, go to across all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, which I'm still messing with, but haven't quite figured it out. Go to at Blue Meanie BWO. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie, where you could get some great T-shirts. You can get BWO shirts. You can get BWO guitar picks. You can get a shoot video where I can send you a cameo-style video. If you would like to just be old school and go to Cameo, go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. I could do a birthday wish, whatever wish. I've done some interesting ones this week, so and I'll just leave it at that. But go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie, BWO. If you would like to smell good like the Blue Meanie, go to madcatbeardcare.com and get the blue spruce. They're doing wonderful things over there at madcatbeardcare.com. If you're a cat lover like myself, go over there and buy some blue spruce and help the kitties. But Mr. Hold on. Collar and Elbow,
yes.
The wrestling brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Use promo code Meanie and save 10% off. Rod Hicks and Al Snow have amazing things going on over there. They're having a little bit of a relaunch with their site with some newer T-shirts and hoodies and stuff that I modeled for their website. So feel free to go over to collarandelbowbrand.com. Promo code Meanie, save 10%. Now, Mr. Barnard, where can we find you?
Well, thank you, sir. And I also want to point out, in case anybody wasn't paying attention during WrestleMania, this year, you saw a Collar and Elbow BWO shirt smack dab in the front row right there. Every single time I look for the BWO shirts, every time there's a major event. But thank you, Meanie. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ThisIsGoober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. You can also check out my show, Foundation Radio, at foundationradio.net. And you can also follow us on Twitter at FND Radio Pod. Lots of great stuff to listen to there. You can also support the show by going to prowrestlingtees.com/Foundation Radio and picking up a shirt there as well and support the program and help keep the lights on. Don't forget to join us here on Twitter at Mind of the Meanie, patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie to sign up and become a member of our illustrious family, the Pod Squad. Pod Squad, thank you so much for joining us each and every week as we record these shows for the Blue Meanie. I am Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind
Blue World Order
of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie was recorded and produced by Adam Barnard and was engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional production and narration provided by Sam Krebs. Our executive producers are Josh Chernoff, Adam Barnard, and the Blue Meanie. Our opening theme is performed by the Swamp Candles. Our closing theme is performed by Chikara. The show contains original music produced by Enrichment. Get additional bonus content by becoming our patron on Patreon at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Mind of the Meanie. This has been a Butts Carlton media production in conjunction with the MLW Radio Network. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
Dad, why is Blue Meanie's brain out?
The world of MLW Radio never stops.